Hey Bestie, welcome back. Today, by popular demand, we are going to do some more Dollar Tree calendar hacks. But first, our word of the day is vibing. Stay to the end to find out what that means. For this Dollar Tree calendar hack, we're going to use the 2025 Count It All Joy calendar. This is brand new, and I'm so excited that I found some calendars. We're going to take the October page or the picture, and we're going to take some half beads I got from Amazon, and then we're also going to use this Dollar Tree sign that I have that was back from like Easter time. Now, I am going to take off the hanger. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my staple remover. I get that from Amazon. If you're wondering, it's really nice for these heavy duty staples. And I will smooth down the areas that had those staples with a little sanding block. I'm going to take the calendar page. Now, because you can see the words on the back, the calendar, I am going to paint that round on the back side with the black chalk paint. Then I'm going to just adhere it with some spray adhesive. And I did not film that, but that's pretty self-explanatory. You could also use Mod Podge. I'll take a sanding block, go around the edges in a downward motion, and I will just remove the excess part of the calendar page. Comes off very easy, and it leaves a really nice clean edge. Now I'm going to go around the edges with that same ink Waverly chalk paint, which is basically black, just to kind of help blend the two little spots where the calendar page wasn't enough to fit over the top. So I'll just keep going over that until it's not quite as noticeable. Then where the hole where you kind of hang the calendar up, I'll put some white there and get rid of that so you won't even notice it. Now I'm going to take my half beads and I'm going to put them on like a clock. So 12, 3, 6, and 9. And this way I will get them all the way I want them. Then I put one in between each of those. And then I put one in between each of those, and then in between each of those until I get as many on there as I want. You could keep going until they're all touching, or you could leave some spaces, which is what I did this time. So you see here, I'm just dry fitting them right now so that I can see how many I need. Now I'm going to take my maize chalk paint. I'm going to stick them to a little scrap, paper here that I use. It had some spray adhesive on it. I'm going to paint them all in the maize, and then I'll take my antique wax and dry brush them. So basically just put a little on my brush, dab most of it off, and then just, kind of dab it on the beads. I didn't want them just yellow looking. I wanted them to have a little bit of the brown on them. Now I'm going to take a black furniture marker, and you could use any kind of a black marker. I'm just going to go around that edge because it had that MDF kind of finish on it, and I did want to cover that up. Now you notice I'm not putting anything on the back. That way, if you really wanted to, you could use the back side. Now I'm going to start gluing those beads on just the way I had dried fit them. Now I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but you know how I'm going to do it now. So there they are, all on there. And I did add a hanger with a little bit of hot glue and some tape, which you could remove and still use the back. I'm not going to, so I'm not worried about it. I've got these beautiful leaves. They're kind of silk-like. And then I've got some other green leaves left over from pics. Just going to put them up at the top and create a little bit of like a decor swag look. And then I've got a gorgeous sunflower that I'm going to put right in the center. I think this turned out absolutely beautiful. This would make a beautiful door hanger, but you could hang it anywhere you want. Let me know what you think. It was so easy. For this Dollar Tree calendar hack, I'm going to use the Count It All Joy calendar again, and I'm going to take the Harvest Blessings page. Now, I've got this sign from the Dollar Tree. It's got 3 pieces in the woods already kind of faux planked, which I really love. It just kind of makes it easy and nice to do. I'm going to cut around just the pumpkins and the little leaves and flowers. And then I will go and I will use an X-Acto knife on a cutting mat, and I will cut a little closer. It's not going to be perfect down where the flowers and the leaves are, but I do want to get it as close to the edges, especially where the pumpkins are, as possible. You just take your time and go over them, and then you just pull the pieces off. And I do that to the whole thing, and there it is. So I used Mod Podge and adhered it. I'm going to take my brayer, roll it over the top, and just make sure it's really, really attached well. Now I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and cut through those planks because I want to keep the planks on there. Now I did get a little cut happy there, but I can fix that with a little distressing. And then I'm just going to turn it over and take anything off the edges that was left over. I'm going to add the Mod Podge over the top to make sure that it is completely sealed. And I love the way that looks. Now we're going to take some plaster chalk paint on the bottom there. I want to blend that a little bit better. So I'm going to put the chalk paint on there, and then I'm going to kind of smudge it with my fingers. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the antique wax just to blend it. And then I'll take the antique wax and I'll put it in all of the slats on all 3 of those pieces. But that's how I also cleaned up where I cut a little too much on that one pumpkin. So then I'm just going to go around and do that with all of them. Got this really pretty sunflower. Now it's a little glitzy for me with that gold in the middle, but I did figure out a way to get rid of that. So I took out the center and I just kept dabbing on it with my antique wax until most of the shine was gone. I didn't mind having a little bit because then it looks like the little seeds in the sunflower. And of course the whole flower came apart. So I'm just going to glue every piece back together, which was fine, super easy. It just went right back together. And then I will glue that center piece back into the middle, where I had taken it off. I'll go around the edges and make sure the edges also stick, not just the center. And then I'm going to glue the back on the very top of this little 3-piece hanger. I'm going to add some beautiful leaves around the sunflower. And I'm just using hot glue for all of this. You can use any kind of glue you want. I figured for this would be just fine. And then for the bottom piece, I'm just going to add some really beautiful kind of lighter leaves. I love these leaves. I'm pretty sure I got them at Walmart and I'm almost out now. So I will have to be on the lookout for some more because I can't imagine crafting for fall without them. I'm going to add some pine cones. I believe I got those at the Dollar Tree. They're just little mini ones. All to the bottom. I just thought that looked so pretty. And a little piece of corn that I think I got at Dollar Tree also. And then I decided to add 2 of those leaves to the sunflower at the top just to tie it all together. I love this piece. It turned out so beautiful. I love using calendars. How about you? Have you used them to craft with? For this Dollar Tree calendar hack, this is such an easy one. I took from that same calendar the back little piece that, they have the little squares to show you what's in the calendar, and I cut it out and I just did some spray adhesive on the back and I adhered it to one side of this glass. Now this little glass container, I believe this was either from Dollar Tree or from IKEA, and I'm sorry, I honestly can't remember. I'm going to take some very thin twine. I'm just going to attach it with hot glue all around the edges of this little cutout. And I think that just really finishes it off very nicely. Super easy, just takes a couple minutes to do. When I get to the end and I glue on the last part, and I'm just going to cut it off, and that's the end of that. It looks so nice and it just frames it up perfectly. I love the way that looks. Now I'm just going to open up the top. I've got some fairy lights that I got from Amazon. They're my favorites. And then I've got some more of those lighter leaves. I'm going to put a bunch of the leaves inside, and then I'm going to add the fairy lights. And I just think that is such a pretty look. I'm not going to glue them down. That way, if I change my mind and I want to do something different, I can. But I thought it would look really pretty to see those lights kind of poking through the leaves. And I was very glad that I tried it because I love the way it looks. It's subtle, but it still looks so beautiful. It's amazing what you can do with those fairy lights. I mean, you can put them where they stand out alone, or you can kind of blend them in with other things. I love them, and they have such a good deal for them on Amazon. I mean, it's my favorite way to get them, and they come with batteries, and so you can't beat that. I love anything that has extras with it. I was going to glue down the fairy lights, but I decided I really didn't want to, and I kind of hid the little battery pack with some leaves. Just put the top back on, and there it is. Oh my gosh, I love it. So easy, so cute. I mean, you could do this with your kids or grandkids too. So here's a picture of it outside, and I'll show you one inside with the lights. Let me know what you think. For this Dollar Tree calendar hack, I'm going to use the You Do You 2025 calendar from Dollar Tree. I love these pictures. They're kind of boho and fun. And then I've got this beer flight piece from the Target Dollar Spot. I've probably had it for a couple years. It was only $5 and it's very solid. Now, this little container, I got this at Dollar Tree that I keep rubbing alcohol in, was the perfect size to fit in there. So I used it to trace a circle around the pieces I wanted to use. I needed 4 of them. So I picked 4 that I thought would look nice together. So I'm just going to cut the 4 out, and then I'll go around and cut out the circle that I traced. It was just easier to go ahead and get them off of the larger piece first. So now that I've cut them out, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put it on the inside of each of those circles. Like I said, it's a beer flight piece. It would be for tasting different kinds of beer. Anyway, I'm going to put those pieces in and cover them with Mod Podge, all 4 of them. Aren't they just so cute? I just love the colors. It's fall, but it's also boho, so you could use it year-round. I'm going to add a piece of white nautical rope from Dollar Tree on the back, hot glue it, and use some masking tape, and that will be our hanger. Now, obviously, you don't have to use this as a hanger, and you could still use it as a beer flight since we did cover it with Mod Podge, but I don't do beer flights, so I'm just going to use it as a hanger. And there's some more tape just to make sure that that rope stays in place. On the top, I'm just going to add some pretty leaves that I had left over from pics, and I'm going to add a sunflower right to the center. And then I added another color of green just to kind of keep it interesting. I like to mix up my little pics. And there we go, adding the sunflower with some hot glue. And that'll just stay perfectly. Now I've got some just small pieces of leftover pip berries that I had around, so I'm just going to cut them and I'm going to put them in. I'm not going to make curlicues with them. I'm just going to snip little pieces off and attach them so they're kind of sticking out behind the flower, but in front of the leaves. I wanted to give it a little bit more dimension and just kind of give it that growing wild kind of look. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to do, you see that piece on the left, there was just a few left on it. So I'm just going to try to use up as many as I can. And that way I get the most out of it. Anyway, I really like the way that looked. And I love the way this turned out. It's a very interesting and different piece. And sometimes it's fun to have something unique. So let me know what you think. And now it's time for our word of the day, vibing. It's used to describe good feelings. So now you are in the know. Ready for more inspiration? Here's another video I think you'll really like. If you click on it, I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.